What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Movie Swap. This is episode number 65, and it is the start of spooky season. So, we're going to be talking about some spooky movies tonight. And doing that will be a returning guest, first guest I've had return in quite some time. So, welcome back to Ryan of Movies with Ryan. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Um, s- we always got to start with somewhere else. What music you been checking out lately?
Uh, I I've been buying a lot more CDs lately. I've always loved the Deftones, and at one point I owned like the majority of their CDs, and I got rid of them for some reason, and I just went back through and bought everything again, and them, and I've been reliving Helmet, which was like a '90s new metal. I wouldn't call them new metal. I'm not sure what to call them, but I've been checking them out a lot, buying their stuff, and then getting back into some soul coughing, a lot of '90s stuff, trying to relive that era, the best era of music, I think.
So wait, you mentioned the word I don't hear much of anymore. You said CDs.
Oh yeah, they're apparently are trying to make a slight comeback. It seems like I, it seems like every vinyl release lately that's been coming out is also getting a CD release, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, I'm still having to resort to Amazon to buy everything because it's kind of dried up. Otherwise, I should say.
Okay. Yeah, because I see vinyls like taking over. It's everywhere now, and I don't hardly ever see CDs. Uh, yeah, not at least not being displayed anywhere. They're kind of like off to the side somewhere after the
Yeah,
records. Um, and even people that I listen to that talk about music is always vinyl or streaming, not doing CDs or cassettes or anything like that anymore.
uh,
Now
yeah.
I had a big CD collection once upon a time. I got rid of them all. You still have yours? I take it.
I had, I would say, probably close to 1,000 at probably like mid like 2005 2006,
Hmm.
and then I ripped all of them to a hard drive, and I sold off maybe half the collection, and then that hard drive got corrupted,
Man.
so I lost all that music. So I started buying again. I kind of didn't buy for a while, but I've been here lately, been going back. I still buy vinyl, not a whole lot as I was, but of course, new cars nowadays don't have CD players. My car doesn't,
Oh,
so I bought a hard drive for it. I rip music to it, and I can actually play my music through the car. So my kids are stuck listening to like all my '90s stuff. So that's kind of fun.
did they ever as a dad? Can you put on whatever it is they're listening to now?
I wouldn't even know what new mainstream music is right now. So they are stuck. My son has become a huge Primus fan, which I just took him a couple months ago back in July to see them. So that was like one of his first big concerts. And then my daughter's actually been getting into ska and punk, like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and Vampire Weekend and stuff like that. So every time we get in the car, she's like, "Put on," and then she'll like name songs. So
Okay.
they enjoy my music.
Okay, that's good. My kids are adults now, and they've got their own musical taste. But when they're in the car with me, it's always hey, can I do the music here this time? Being a girl dad, I'm like, all right, whatever. So that they keep me young in musical taste sometimes, so I pick up things that I like from them, and that's cool. And then some days I do subject them to whatever I want to hear, so it works out.
Yeah, I really like the only modern music I really listen to would be like 21 Pilots. Sorry, my phone just went off again. Like 21 Pilots and man, Deftones just put out a new CD, so of course I bought that, but I'm just really not up to date on anything like post 2010, 15, maybe. Like anything from
Okay.
there to here. Especially like Taylor Swift and all that. I don't get into all that stuff. I'm not really a pop person, which I guess you can consider 21 Pilots pop, but they're a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, anything new that I like. I picked up from them. So, and I got a pretty, I like a pretty good amount of artists here, but then I also grumble and complain about a lot of artists too. So they got to listen to me and they call me a hater and all that kind of thing. But it is what it is. If it's terrible, I hate it. So that's what I tell them. Yeah, of course, I'm a hater. It's terrible. It sucks. Why would I like that?
Well, and now too, there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Rick Beato. He's a music producer, a guitarist. He does a lot of interviews and all that. Really great channel if you ever want to check him out. But here in the last like few of his interviews he's done, he's really kind of talked about AI and how that's kind of taking over. How you basically can set up an AI program now, and you
Hmm.
say generate a random artist that sings pop country, and it'll make a profile, a name, and then you just feed it some ideas and it'll write a whole song now. So it's like the wave of the future seems like it's going to be a lot of AI stuff. So you're not even going to know none of these people anymore. And it's kind of just crazy to think that. And even movies kind of is in that same parallel a little bit, not as extreme, but it seems like music's really going to start getting weird here soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's already kind of weird. I mean, just aside from, well, the actual artists, they're at least, when I do hear a lot of the current music, a lot of them, they due to auto tune. I mean, the voice
Yeah.
sounds alike
Yeah.
on all of these songs. I'm like, this is why none of you have any staying power because they don't need you. You sound like the last 30 people I just heard, and there's nothing
Yeah.
different about you. There's no emotion to whatever you said. So that's one thing. And then, you go on YouTube and all of a sudden you'll see like, well, what if this song was made in the 40s? And then
Yeah.
they'll have that up there and it'll be a whole song and a whole different vibe to it. Or you see a lot of like raunchy songs and sung in styles from way back. Like, well, this is the jazz version of Lick My Balls or whatever it is, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right?
From the
And so
windows to the walls.
yeah, yeah, so it's already getting crazy out there. That's for
I
sure.
It is cool though to see some of the stuff that come up because I mean on Instagram I do post a lot of that weird stuff to my story, just like things like Matt Glocky. He's a pretty I think well known YouTuber and Instagrammer, and I guess he's on Twitch, but he'll do that too. Like he'll take suggestions and be like, "Hollaback Girl in the style of corn," and like so he'll
Yeah,
make that and all that. So some of that stuff's cool, but it's going to get to that point where you're just not going to know who's doing what, if it's real, if it's not real, and all that. So a little bit, it's going to be interesting, especially coming
right.
back from our days where we're listening on 8 tracks, vinyl, cassette,
Mhm,
into
mhm.
CD, and now everything's on digital and being created out of thin air. It's craziness.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I mean, even with real artists, even I mean, there's no tangibility to the music because you're listening to it on streaming. A lot of people are listening to it on streaming all the time, and I'm guilty of that because I don't have any. The only vinyl I have is there's a Purple Rain right back there that I don't even take out of the plastic. So, and I don't have a record player. So I'm guilty of streaming all my music. But when that comes out, when an artist comes out with an album, there's nothing tangible about it. It's disposable. You go through
Yeah,
the track list, you listen to the songs, and then you move on to another album, another song, another playlist, whatever it is. Whereas again, coming from our day, you save up money, go to the record store, spend maybe an hour or two combing through the racks trying to find what you want, getting it home, ripping off the plastic, playing it, opening it up, maybe reading along with the lyrics if the lyrics were in there, or reading all the liners in there. And that experience is gone. And like, talking to my daughters again, it's like, an album comes out, in 2 weeks, the album is old. They've not heard it anymore and they know nothing about it. Whereas that album that I spent time, to pick, you know, if I didn't like it the first time, I'm gonna listen to it at least 10 more to figure out for sure if I didn't like it because I had so much time invested in it. And they just don't have that. It's like, okay, this guy got a new song, click play, it sucks, I'll move on. So
or you fall into the pitfall of like, oh man, that song on the radio is awesome. You go buy the CD and it's the only good song on there, but you've done paid your $14 or $15 for that CD, so it's like I'm gonna like this no matter
Yeah,
what because I've
yeah,
invested time in this. I went out, and I sought it out, and I bought it. But yeah,
yeah. And if
I
well, go ahead.
I was gonna say I miss it. Physical media's kind of filled that role too, but I miss going. We had a really nice. It was called Cats Records. It was a family-owned record store, and it was by our only movie theater at the time. And that's what me and my friends would do when I was like 15, 16, 17. We'd go there, we'd go eat, we'd go to Cats, we'd go see a movie. Flipping through CDs is just like looking through physical media. It's like
Yeah.
you see the covers and stuff bring you in. And, back in the day before internet, like you just had to go by people's words. Or if you've seen one video
Mhm.
clip on MTV or on the radio, it's like, it was different. Now, like you said, streaming, you can bunch of things, a couple of things in, and you've got the whole catalog in front of you, and you don't
Right.
have to invest anything really into it.
Right, right. I mean, there's even albums that I know from back in the day that I missed just because I couldn't afford it or didn't get around to it or whatever. I never went and bought it physically. Whereas if I'm a music fan now, if I want to hear it, I don't have to do anything really. Just pick up my phone and
Yeah.
find it in a couple seconds. And so it's a whole different ball game, whole different experience. Let's see who's hanging out with us. We got one person who popped in but will not be hanging out with us, and that's Corey. He says, "Sorry, won't be able to join the chat tonight. I will for sure check out the replay. Hope you both have a great night." Thank you, Corey. If when you do see this on replay, I appreciate you popping in. Steve is here. What's going on, Steve? He says, "Hi, y'all." And of course, Adrian is here. Hey,
Adrian.
Adrian. He says, "Hello, fellas." Stacy pops in with a question. Do you like Swordfish? I thought it was fun. Not a great movie, but it's fun.
I debated picking up the 4K, and I think the only reason I wanted the 4K was because of the scene. I like the movie, but I think it's very dated, and that's why I don't
Oh yeah.
think I rebought it into the collection or upgraded it to 4K. I don't think I even when I've here in the last couple months. I think I've said it in a couple of videos and live streams. I've been purging my collection, like all my studio titles, going through and just getting rid of stuff I know I'll never watch again. I think Swordfish may have was confined to that fate. I don't think it's on my thing anymore. But it's a good movie. I liked it. Um, Travolta was a madman in that movie, and I like how he controlled every scene he was in, and he really was he was the guy that you definitely wouldn't want robbing your bank. I did like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I have it on. I have the regular Blu-ray back here somewhere, and yeah, soon I'm slowly kind of purging things, and I'm sure that will be one that's like, yeah, really need that. I'm not gonna watch Swordfish probably, and if I do, I don't have to have it taken up room here. But yeah, it was fun. It was fine.
And
Um,
that's what I was
like
kind of thinking with the studio titles. My Mega Replay, as long as they stay open, I mean, they've got like 10 copies on the shelf. So if I want to go pick the movie up again, I can go pick it up for like $3. So
yeah,
you know,
can't beat that. Like the movie man says, "Hey Dell and Movies with Ryan, just wanted to pop in and say
hey,
hi.
Collector
I'm
Man,
watching Silence of the Lambs right now. Cool,
good choice. It
excellent
puts the
choice.
lotion on the skin.
That's right."
Have you
Been a
seen
while.
that? I know it was on YouTube forever. It's probably been on YouTube for like 15 years or so. But that band that did that song for that, it puts the lotion on the skin.
I
It's like
may
real
have and don't
creepy.
remember. It sounds familiar
It's
though.
it's it's been on YouTube for a long time. I used to love that song. It was great.
I have to look that up. Stacey, another question. Do you like the music group The Freeze?
The Freeze. I don't think I've heard of them. And I'm gonna say that lightly because I've probably actually heard of them and just not realized it. That's the other thing. Um, I kind of hate about technology. You figure nowadays, like if you're listening to the radio, they should be able to tell you the band, the song name, and
Right.
where what record it's on. But you don't even get that half the time. So there's probably bands I've heard that I don't even realize that's who they are.
Yeah. Every now and again I'll turn on the radio just to kind of see what's playing. And Yeah, you'll get the first song they play after the commercial break, you'll get that title and the artist, and then they'll play 3, 4, 5 songs, and you might get the last song that they played. Hey, that was so and so and so and so, and then they go to
Yeah.
commercial break. So all that
Then if
stuff
you
in the
want to know
middle,
what we're playing all day, go check us out on our Twitter
that
page at blah blah blah.
yeah.
It's like I don't want to do all that. Like I want to know now what I'm listening to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
we are so old now.
we are. And I can't even rely on my car because I'm pretty sure my car is older than yours. And it's young enough where it's the name of the song is supposed to pop up on the screen, but half the time that doesn't come up. So it's like, oh God, what am I listening
Yeah,
to right
when I do listen to the radio, I listen to our college radio station and it's hit or miss. Sometimes it'll have the song name up there in the band and sometimes it won't for some reason. So I don't know if that's a from their end technology thing or what it is.
now? Yeah. Or if the band is just a little too obscure or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Uh oh, that was you saying
Yep.
hi.
I've got my laptop off to the side here,
I
walking away.
uh, make a Dark City series. It's interesting. The movie's great.
Have you ever seen Dark City itself?
Yeah, the movie's great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, movie's great. I could see. I mean, I think we're 20 years too late on it, but that would have been an interesting series because that for a it's not a short movie, but for a short movie, they delve into a lot of stuff in that movie, and I think it could have been something expanded on very easily. I love Acres of Movies. She always comes in with lots of good questions.
Oh yeah. And I mean, we say it's dated, and granted, if you leave it exactly as it is dated. But I think the concept is something that can be adapted, so I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
And she's got a question. Would you rather go on a dark ride for People Under the Stairs or Life Force?
I've never seen People Under the Stairs, and I vaguely remember Life Force because I'm pretty sure I
Ooh,
watched that as a kid on VHS. So I would probably just have to by default go with Life Force because I don't know if I
okay.
want to be stuck with People Under the Stairs.
I would say definitely see People Under the Stairs though. It's it's actually not as dated as it should be because it's a 90s horror flick. Um and horror is lightly. So and I know you're not a huge horror guy, even though we're going to talk horror tonight.
No, I'm not.
But you're not a huge horror guy, but this is not anything that's going to get under your skin or anything like that. Not like one of these movies, or well, both of these movies actually. So we'll get to
These
it.
movies we're talking about tonight are fun. I'm happy to talk about them. They're a fun time.
Yeah. Life Force is a fun movie also. I don't know how
And
good
this
it
is
is, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Remake the Wailing. What aspects would you keep for the new version?
ooh, it,
Let's do this for that one, Stacy. Let's save that question. I'm gonna put a
yeah.
star in that one, and maybe when we get to the end of the Wailing, we'll talk about that. We'll see if we got anything for that. 4K Tent Revival. What's going on? What's up?
What's going on, man?
And he's
Did I have
telling
my
Holland to calm down. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm
letterbox?
not sure what Holland did, but what's up, Holland? I don't know if I said what's up to Holland. He's saying what's up to Brad here, and he says
I
this
gotta
is the year
remember.
of the PM purge.
There's a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers across the board that's been purging their
Is
collections and going through it.
I've
And I don't
yeah,
think
I've
it's
noticed.
not a bad thing. I think we had that that good golden era there about 3 years ago where we were just buying everything because of FOMO and all that, and now I think people are realizing that the studios are just putting everything out, even though some
Yeah,
of the stuff is scarce. We're still getting like second like a Master and Commander. What was the one right before that? The Kingdom of Heaven. A couple of these releases were put out. They were immediately sold out because of scalpers and all that. But then we've had second, third, and fourth wave printings now of them. So I think people aren't just snatching stuff up right away, and I think people are just being a little bit more cautious with what they're buying now.
So
Plus,
I
I mean,
got
you're not
a
going to watch everything.
question for you. What do you think about this uh, manufactured scarcity that's going on? So, for instance, the Nightmare on Elm Street steelbook set just came out, and they didn't make very many of those at all. They sold out like what 10 minutes after they went live online, and now everybody's waiting around. And I'm sure in 6 months to a year they'll probably put it out again. They did the same thing. Same thing happened with the Superman steelbook set a couple years ago that came out, and now they're putting it out again. What do you think about that, or why they do that?
It's it's hard to deal with because do we actually know if they're going? Are they going to actually put more stuff out? Another
Mm,
good example is Lord of the Rings. When they came out that nice 10 set when it was still Best Buy. That thing's been reprinted 3 times now, and now they just released the individual steel books too.
mhm.
So it's like, originally that was supposed to be a one-off thing, and now we've had 3 reprints, we've had the individuals released. So it's hard to really judge, are they holding back stock, or are they, "Oh my god, we sold out of this, we need to print more." It's, and of course we'll never know because they're not going to be upfront with us. They're not going to
Yeah,
tell us. Um, I hate it. I've been more careful about stuff I've been buying. I've been really focusing on movies that I really want in my collection, upgrading to boutique, more fancy packaging and 4K stuff. So if I hate doing it sometimes, if I got to spend that extra $10 to make sure I acquire it, like I, I I got sucked into Kingdom of Heaven. It was sold out everywhere. I ended up going up on a website that I used to use, wasn't too happy with it, but I still used it. I ended up paying like $10 or $15 over MSRP. And then a month later it got reprinted or re-released. And I was mad at myself, but at the time I was like, I have to have this in my collection. So
yeah,
it's that fine line, and it's hard because we really don't know. We don't know if that's going to be they may never print any more of the Nightmare of Elm Street, but like you said, here in 3 months, we may get 1,000 more or whatever, and it's
right,
crazy. And
right.
scalpers are pissing me off. Scalpers aren't just, they're in every hobby now. Like
Yeah,
these vulture people that just live on eBay. That's all they do is just scalp, 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 and then turn around and just sell it for a higher price. And it's getting bad across a bunch of different hobbies. And nobody's doing anything about it. eBay's not going to do anything about it.
no. It's just
Manufacturers aren't going to do anything about it because they've got their money.
yeah, they've
They
got
don't
their
care.
money. eBay is just traffic for their site, so they're getting money out of it. And that Nightmare set, I saw it on eBay. People selling it for 400 or 500 bucks now already.
Yeah, and then and the sad thing is, some people that have never owned Nightmare on Elm Street except for on VHS is going to be like, man, I really want that. Now I'm going to have to go on eBay, spend $400 on it, and that scalper is going to get the satisfaction that they got somebody, and
Yeah,
that person that bought it may not know, hey, there may be reprints, or hey,
yeah,
go check out this website or this website or this website. They may have 1 or 2 in stock, or go check Orbit DVD. They may have a dent special because the cellophane's ripped on it. They, some people, there's very extremes in our, in the movie world too. There's us, and then there's the layman that really don't know all the little back channels and
yeah,
has the networking and all that, in the same way we do.
yeah,
I said
yeah.
scalpers. I've seen somebody say something about scalpers.
All right, we'll get. Well, Caveman is here. What's going on, Caveman? He said, "Hey, there's my famously misspelled his name on purpose by his mom. Please hit the like button for these two guys. Thank you, guy." And
I'm
let's
on my
see.
letterbox here trying to find my Wailing so I can pull it up. Remember, I gave it 5 stars. Oh man.
Uh, 4K 10 revival. You think Dark City is in the same universe as The Matrix? It is not, but there are lots of links between Dark City and The Matrix. Um,
And we wouldn't have Matrix if it wasn't for Dark City, because Dark City came out. I think production wise, it was like a year or two ahead of Matrix, but they
right.
released within the same year of each other. I think.
Right. And if you watch The Matrix, what you might notice if you've seen Dark City, what you might notice is that some of the leftover scene sets and things from Dark City are used in The Matrix because I believe they were filming on the same lot and Dark City had wrapped up, and so the Matrix they use a lot of stuff from Dark City in the Matrix. So there are links between the two, but story wise, I don't think they're in the same universe or supposed to be in the same universe. But who knows? The Purge is great for everyone. Sellers free up space and buyers get titles they missed. Plus, it hurts scalpers on top.
Yep.
Sounds like it is the way the titles information is input, meaning someone has to be input manually, whereas most of today's information comes directly off of the media and information shared auto. I'm not quite
He's
sure
probably talking
what
about
you're
like
talking
he's probably talking about the radio and stuff like that, which that would kind of make sense
about. Okay, yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
they're running audio off of a tape that was sent into them or a CD or
I
whatever
got you.
versus
Okay,
just running it off that are already programmed. That would make sense.
okay. Cool shirt. He says, like your shirt, very cool. My shirt is very basic
Friendly,
today.
friendly
Had to
neighborhood
go to
Spider.
work, so and I mean I teach kids, but I can't wear a t-shirt like every day. You know, the boss starts looking sideways, principal starts looking sideways. At least at my school, anyway. And Mika is here. Says, "Hey guys, hey Mika."
Hey, Mika. Her and Kira have been doing some pretty good live casts or live streams here lately. They've been doing a lot of horror movies and having a different
Yeah.
subject every night. I've been catching them.
They've also been doing a lot of music lately. They had some
Yes.
fall listening a couple weeks ago. I think earlier to or not earlier tonight, but last night I think they had some horror music. I was trying to get to it, and then they were in and out of there kind of quick, like 30 minutes. So I missed out on that. But they've been doing some really really great stuff. All right,
Yep.
let's get to the reason we're actually here. We're
All
gonna
right.
talk some movies here. And sir, if you don't mind, just let the good people know what is the movie that you had me watch?
So 2016 Japanese. Is this Japanese or is this Korean? Yes. No,
This
it's
is
Korean.
Korean.
It is Korean. Yeah, because it's by Nahin Jim or whatever his name is.
Mhm.
We went with The Wailing for Mr. Dell to watch because you said you had not watched this. And yeah, you need to watch this. Everybody needs to watch this. If you've not watched The Wailing and you want to see some good Asian horror, this is the one to go for.
So I mentioned at the top of the show that you are my first return guest in quite some time. I haven't had anybody return to the show in a long time, and you are here to keep me accountable because we actually talked about this a long time ago when you were on the show last. And it
Yes.
came out during that show that I had never seen The Wailing, and you sent me a copy of The Wailing,
Yes,
and
because I
I'm like,
picked up this nice plain archive steelbook that I had to have in the collection.
"There you go."
As beautiful as
Eh,
the movie.
so,
Look at this
um,
thing. Look at it. It's
that does
nice.
look good. That does look good. So, and that was been it's probably been 2 years ago now almost, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think because the movie that you had me watch actually came from the live stream that me, you, KB, and Vin were on. You had said it, and it took me a while to find it because everybody was sold out of it, and then I've just never watched it. And this was like perfect timing because you've had The Wailing sitting there, and I've had my title sitting there. It was like, let's do this.
Yeah, yeah. So, The Wailing, you got a quick synopsis for us, or you need me to do that?
So basically, it's this little town, just at the foot of Mount Fuji. I think it's Fujian is basically where they're at, and these people start getting sick. A murder happens. People start tying it into this Japanese man that has kind of wandered to the outskirts of the village. More people start getting killed. Things are kind of going weird. This cop and his partner are trying to figure stuff out. The cop starts getting affected, his family, and the shaman comes in, tries to purify stuff, and there's a bunch of twists and turns. And I, to me, even though this movie's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, it goes by quick. It keeps you attached the whole time. The cinematography in this thing's beautiful. The jump scares, the horror, the thriller part of it's really good. There's some comedy in here between the two cops. Um,
Yeah.
but it is definitely a two watch movie to really get probably I would say the last 45 minutes of it is really, it takes some good twists and turns, and you start thinking, oh, it's this. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's this. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's this. And then it all culminates into this ending you don't expect, which again, I've said it a million times. That's why I love Asian movies, because they don't sparkle stuff up like American movies. It's very definitive. There's always that end that you're like, oh no, don't go there. No, there's got to be. No, they went there.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think just before we get into to specifically the Wailing, but I think the difference between Asian movies and American movies is, for the most part, I mean, there's exceptions on both sides, but for the most part, in America, we make movies to make the audience feel good,
Yeah.
and they make movies to tell a story. And they don't;
Yes.
those two things don't always go together.
That
And
be,
that
yes, American movies really are probably some of the most unrealistic movies made in the whole world for the most part.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
hate to say that because I mean I love American movies, but they're very, very hopeful and very unrealistic. Whereas Asian movies don't hold back, and I love that.
right, right. So, I mean, if you get you get a happy ending in an Asian movie, and it chances are it was well earned. 'Cause,
Yes.
there were some things going, whereas in American movies, that it may not be well earned. You're just gonna get a happy ending because that's what they want you to have, or what they think we want, and
I
they're all
mean,
about
not,
giving us
not, not to sway off the subject of horror, but like even love stories in Asian movies aren't always a happy ending either. Like
right.
Past Lives is a very good movie. It came out a couple years ago, but
Mhm.
it's about
Yeah,
this man that follows this woman in the United States because he really thinks that there was something there, and
yeah.
then he goes back home. It's
Yep.
like, okay. But if it was an American movie, he would have came in and swept her off her feet and took her from her new husband, and they would have lived
Mhm.
happily ever after. But it's like, man, even in their love stories, like it's a 50-50.
It is a 50-50, and Past Lives is an excellent film if anybody's not seen it. But yeah, it's not, don't expect, somebody running, chasing down the someone else on the train while it's pulling out of the station and confessing their love. That no, that's not what we get with Past Lives. So the Wailing, we got, yeah, this Japanese man. We said it's a Korean movie, and so it's a Korean town, obviously. And this one Japanese man has kind of moved into town, and coincidentally, we think, or they think, people just kind of start dying horrifically. But it always seems to be uh, some 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 sort of accident, but maybe a suspicious accident. And
Yep.
our main character is a police officer, and so he's kind of goes on these investigations. This is where I wasn't prepared for the humor here, and it was kind of, at first he seems kind of goofy. Our our hero, he seems kind of goofy, and I'm like, okay, this is the guy. What is happening here? Because I was, I've heard so much about the movie. It's like, okay, I'm ready for this completely dreadful experience from moment one, and then I get, this kind of thing happening. So going into it, your first time watching it, were you taken aback by that, like I was, or you were just kind of going with the flow?
No. So I'm pretty sure Mika and Kira they both love this movie and they recommended it, and I think they were the ones that really got me to watch it. I went out and bought it and all that, and I really the humor really it doesn't distract you from the story, but it
Mhm.
makes it feel so much more real. It kind of involves you a little bit in the story because you kind of feel for, I think his name, Jung-gu is what the cop's name is in the thing, and then his partner, because you kind of feel like you're like, oh, these two are just buddies. They're in this town, this little town, and like they're just two dudes trying to just survive, and all this crazy stuff starts happening in their town. And it's like, yeah, I would be cracking just kind of weird jokes to try to keep my sanity too. So like it really pulled me further into the story because you're like, oh, these two dudes don't know what's going on either. Like we're in this ride together now.
Right. And you get the feel that this is like what you've already said, but it's a small town. So this kind of thing just doesn't happen, right? We're not getting like a bunch of murders there every month, every
Yeah.
year, or whatever the case may be. So it's one of those, everybody kind of knows everybody towns. And even one of the first things that happened, he's telling his wife that he's got to go, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, the butcher. I think it was the butcher. The butcher, his wife passed away, or his wife, and I got to go check this out, or something like that." So it's like one of those everybody knows everybody kind of towns, and so these horrific murders, they're taking everybody back, and then they're trying to piece it together. um who could be responsible for this, and all fingers seeming to point to the one Japanese guy in town. Now, from watching it from the outside, watching it for the first time, I'm like, okay, so are we reaching that conclusion because he's the only Japanese guy in town, or is there something that I'm missing? Because it's like, oh yeah, he's around, and he's a bit standoffish. He's not the most social guy.
Well,
But
and
that
when he's eating the deer and then he attacks the guy that was hiking through the woods with the red eyes, you're like, okay, he's definitely the bad guy.
right, right, right,
Like
right, right, right,
he's set up from the get go to be the protagonist, and it's not 100% correct.
right, right. Not 100% correct. And well, yeah. So I mean, my question is more along the line: if I'm them, though, how do I necessarily reach this conclusion all of a sudden? And I think, well, our main cop, he's starting to see things and have dreams and all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, so we as the audience get that. We get that set up, and we're just kind of like, ooh, okay, what is going on with this guy? Now, the officer has a family, and this plays a major role in the movie.
Yep.
In particular, he has a daughter. I want to say she's 8, 9 years old, something like that. I don't know if they said her
Yeah,
age.
she's sub 10. I want to say she's 8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually all the goings on seem to be affecting her, or not, or she seems to be affected by something, so we don't know exactly what. And at this point I'm like, okay, I'm getting poltergeist vibes, but not as fun as poltergeist. This is a lot more harrowing. So I don't know how you feel about what was going on with this little girl here.
Yeah, because he's already stressed that, because I think at this point there's been two murders, because there was the
Right.
initial one where the guy stabbed all the people in the house, and
Hmm.
then there was the fire, and then he gets attacked, and then his daughter starts getting sick, but then magically, like the next day, she's better,
Right.
still acting weird, but better.
Right.
So to be in his situation, like, man, all this weird stuff's going on. We think it might be this guy. Oh crap! Now my daughter's, I need to be here for my daughter, but now it's that guy. It's all because of that guy. So it kind of it doesn't reaffirm, but in his mind, he's like, okay, we're going after that guy because that is the problem. He's not going to mess with my family and my daughter.
Hmm.
And I since watching this, I think we were talking backstage. I haven't watched this movie since I watched it September 24th, 2022. So it's been 3 years now. Um, so I went back and there was a really, really good about 25-minute synopsis. The guy's channel was Found Flicks, and he does a really good breakdown of this. But I was reading some of the comments in there too, and I started kind of putting some other pieces together, which we can talk about in a little bit. But I would be very, as a father and as a police officer, I would be very irate. Now, my daughter is starting to show symptoms of stuff that we think has been going on with these other people. And now this Japanese guy is the guy that is it.
Hmm.
And then we get a shaman.
Yeah, yeah. I think the movie just kind of flies off the rail once the shaman comes in here, and not in a
Yes.
bad way. It's not like it just turns left. It's like, okay, we've kicked in the high gear now
Yeah.
when the shaman kind of shows up. Before that, we get a
Well,
few of these
I guess
episodes.
before the shaman shows up, I technically, him and his partner go into the woods. They
Yes,
find the guy that had fallen down. They go in the woods. They find the guy's house, and they find a bunch of stuff.
yes,
So it kind of confirms what they are, and then things get ramped up for a second, and then the shaman comes in. And you're right, things do take a left hand turn, but we're like, okay, we got good fighting evil now.
right, 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 and yeah. So I mean, and let's talk about the guy's house, though. The Japanese guys. He gets there. I'm trying to think back. I don't remember him ever actually being in the house when they got there. He's
No, he
always
was
standing
out.
on the
He,
outside.
yeah, he was outside because the dog was outside the house.
Right.
Um, th- the preacher, which was the nephew of his partner, was there, and his partner found the shrine while the main cop was inside the house, which was
Inside,
basically
yeah.
a two-room house with a side building that had the shrine in it. And
Mhm.
then the man
Mhm.
comes out of the woods, and or the dog gets loose, attacks the priest. The man comes out of the woods. The dog goes back to him, and then they run. They he runs from him,
The
or no? He
There was a
says he's
dog
got
attack
him.
earlier where I mean, nothing really came of it, but it kinda sets up this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
And the dog attacks him, and he kills the dog.
right, and then guy
Yes.
comes stumbling out of the woods like a zombie, and he does some damage. He kills one of the cops, right?
He kills one of the. No, that's the so there's two different times they go to the house.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
The first time they just get away from the guy. That's when they're confirmed that they know it's him. Then they come back with the group of guys. Oh, we lost Dale. Did we lose Dale? There he is.
Okay.
Um, they come back with a group of guys, and that's when everything is burned,
Mhm.
supposedly. And that's when the reanimated corpse attacks him, eats the one guy's face, and
Yes,
then the
it was a
dog gets killed and all that. And then yeah,
yeah, so we're
so
same scene we're talking about. We just had it
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
little a
yeah.
little a little off. All right, Mika says she loves the Wailing. You've already mentioned that. And she also said that that steelbook is beautiful.
Thank you.
The
Um,
Wailing 4K is only $14 at Amazon right now. Did not know that. And Mika said that's a
I know
great price. That
Amazon's
is.
running a bunch of sales right now because Target's running their buy two get one free. So
Oh, okay. I've
uh,
never gotten involved with the Target sale because I just heard so many bad things or so many horror stories about it, and I just never bothered.
well, once they took physical media out of the stores, basically, like you almost can't find anything online anymore. They don't have the selection they used to have and all that. So, eh, yeah. So the shaman
Yes.
shows up in town. We're like, okay, we got somebody on the good side. He's going to fight the good fight, and he starts. I think one of the first thing he does, he just goes around and he busts a
The
pot
canister
full
that
of
was
something,
yeah.
and there was a crow in there. He goes, "Oh." this is a bad sign. This is an evil
Yeah.
spirit. He's already set stuff up around this village to give him protection. So now I've got to come in and destroy that, and we're going to get this guy. And you're like,
Mhm.
okay. One thing we haven't talked about is the mysterious woman that he's seen, the main cop seen at the second killing, the fire.
Think it was the second one. And yes, the mysterious woman, she's just kind of standing in white, looking ominous. She's got,
Yes,
she's dressed
she
in
has
all
the
white.
same MO as the Japanese guy. She's
Hmm.
standoffish. You kind of see her in the background of a few things. She doesn't really talk a whole lot. And you're like, okay, so she's in cahoots maybe with the Japanese guy.
Right.
And the shaman's
Right.
like, we're gonna fix all this, you know. And he somehow finds out about her. I think maybe the main
He's,
cop says something.
did he not see her?
Maybe he did see her. That's right.
I think
They
he
did
saw
run
her.
into each other one time,
Yeah.
and then um, so we had the guys get attacked. They went down. The shaman says, "Okay, we got to fight the evil, so we're going to do this ritual. I'm going to kill some chickens and kill a goat and stab some beef and burn an effigy, and we're going to get this
So
guy out of here. We're going to get his curse away. We're going to fix your daughter and all that." And
that scene though, that was frenetic scene. If we just got that, it would be a wild frenetic scene. But that was also juxtaposed with the Japanese guy doing pretty much the same thing, but with the
yeah,
crows, he had more crows and a little darker scene, but he's doing so we're cutting back and forth between the two, and I thought that was pretty. It was an amazingly well done sequence that they
yes,
put
like
together.
and it looked like good versus evil. They're fighting each other, and then the main daughter starts getting erratic. I mean, she's responding to everything the shaman's doing,
Hmm.
but there's one creepy thing about this movie, and they show it in a couple of deaths. They start doing the arching and the deforming,
Yeah,
and then you start
yeah,
hearing bones crack, and usually that means they're going to die shortly after because the main cop has already seen this with
yes,
one of the other victims that right before they died, they started contortioning and bones were cracking and blood started coming out of them. So he stops the ritual. He goes, "We're done.
hmm
I'm going to take her to the hospital. They're going to fix her there." And you're like, "Well, crap, dude, you just ruined the whole thing."
that's what I said.
And
I was like, "Oh man, you shouldn't have stopped this. You should not have stopped this." And I
yes,
get it because as a dad, you're seeing your daughter clearly going through pain. And so I understand, the urge to or the instinct to, I'm going to stop my daughter's pain right now. This can't go on. This can't be right because my daughter's hurting. You're hurting my daughter. So I understand why he did it, but as a viewer, I'm like, you should let this play out. You just stopped. The who could have been the hero. You stopped the hero from ending the evil. So that's where I
so
was.
he takes her to the hospital. She gets better. They come back. He goes and does something, and he comes back and he's like, "Where's my daughter at?" And the wife is like, "She's at the neighbor's house." I think
Yeah,
this happens after that, or does it happen
yeah.
before?
I
Maybe it
think
happens
this is
after.
after because he had yeah, he had taken her to the hospital and she'd gotten better, so he takes her home and um he went to see someone and he had this big old bandage on the side of his
Yeah,
face and he had taken it off and the guy's looking at him like, what is going on with your face? And then he gets a call from the shaman, and the shaman's like, "You gotta get home now. You gotta go see about your daughter." So he runs home, and yeah, the daughter is not at home,
yeah.
and
And come to find
unfortunately,
out, she stabbed the neighbor to death with a pair of scissors.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I, I,
No.
I knew she was gonna do something to someone, but I assumed it would be someone in the house, in their own house.
Yeah. And that's when I'm like, man, what is going on? Like she was bad, got good, got worse, got better. Now she just killed somebody. And you don't, this is when it starts getting that twisty turning. You don't know what's going on. And then, I forget what happens in between there, but then we get the shaman comes back, correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he is walking into the town and he runs into the mysterious woman and he starts just fountain of blood out of his nose, out of his mouth. And he runs into the woman and he takes off. You're like, oh, okay. Now you got another twist. You're like, no, she is a bad person. Like
Yes.
she's evil and he's good. So he tries to run out of town. He runs into a swarm of locusts, so he has to pull over, and the locusts weren't real. So he turns back around to come back into the town. And
Yes.
that's when the priest goes back up to the mountain to the Japanese man's house to confront him, while the cop is also coming back into town because it's nighttime at this point, and the cop's coming back, and the main cop's coming back into town. Actually, didn't his partner die at some point?
Yes. Was that not his partner that got his face eaten by the guy in the woods?
Maybe that's what he was, and he was, yeah, he was checking on him or whatever,
I
and
think
he was
that's what it
coming
was.
back into
Yeah.
town. But the
Now,
Japanese man,
if we could back up for a minute to the shaman,
yeah,
though,
go ahead.
and meeting the woman, I believe this is a scene where she kind of reveals that there's more to her than we know, even
Yes,
before she starts, before she does away with him. She has to give her villain monologue, and she kind of lets us know that there's more to her than we've been led to believe. Even she's not just an accomplice; she's something more than that. She's something more than that. And then we get the next scene that you were talking about with the Japanese guy and that little bit of reveal.
yes. Oh, that's right. The shaman, right before that, the shaman had dropped a box out of the car,
Hmm.
and that's when we see the. I don't want to. The Japanese guy reveals himself to be an evil spirit, and he takes a picture of the priest, and the priest is done for. They kind of just leave that up to what happens.
Hmm.
But going back to the shaman, he drops this box that has stuff in it that was supposed to have been burned. He's got all the pictures of all the victims and all that were in that little hut. So you're like, what's going on here? So now you're tied. You know the Japanese man is an evil spirit. You got this mysterious woman that just made this shaman that's supposed to be good just fountains of blood. But then the shaman's got all the stuff that the Japanese man had. How'd he get that? And it's like, so you're sitting there thinking, man. So the shaman calls, that's right. After the shaman sees the woman, he calls the cop and says, you need to get home to your daughter now. Because the
Yes.
shaman and the Japanese man has already set in motion what's going to end the movie. That's right.
Yes.
I'm back on track now. This movie's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Like
Yes, it
it's
is. It's,
there's
it's a long
the
horror
last
movie. Yes.
45 minutes is tense because you are just like, whoa, this is going whoa, it's twists and turns. But that's right. He called the shaman calls the cop. The cop's heading back to his house, and that's when the cop runs back into the mysterious woman. And she's like, look, dude, the rooster's gonna crow 3 times. Don't go to your house. Because if you go to your house now, it's going to be hell. And he's like, no, you're evil. Like the shaman told me you're evil, and he sees something that he had purchased for his daughter earlier in the movie by the woman. And he's like, no, I've already seen this. I've already seen this with all these other murders. There's been little trinkets from each of these people. And now you have this hair barrette that my daughter had. You are evil. So he runs home and we get basically the ending of the movie. And
Yeah.
I was not expecting it at all.
How could you? Is really my question.
Uh, Uh, like I was as soon so the daughter kills the mother, and
Mhm.
then she attacks him,
Mhm.
and basically the last shot of him is him basically gurgling in his own blood, like what the fuck.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to cuss,
Yes.
but I mean that's like literally like what. But
Mhm.
on that found flicks, I was reading through the comments and all that, and it made me realize like just how if the woman would have spoke up more and been a little bit less mysterious, we wouldn't have got that ending. Like if she would have been like, "No, I'm actually good. I'm trying to do you a favor here. You can't go in there because I've got ward of protection here, and
Mhm.
things are happening on my time. But now this other shaman's going to cause you to screw it up." Like it's a very good fight of evil and evil versus good, but you just never know who the good is for like the good 45 minutes.
Right. 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 And yeah, even as after it ends, you have to mull it over. And
Yep.
I'll agree that yeah, it's a two watch, at least a two watch movie. You're gonna have to go back through it, and I'm at that stage now where I've got to go back through the movie to see it again. And now I kind of have an idea. I know where we're going, so I can be looking at certain things differently.
So there was a couple things I didn't pick up on, and one of the things in that found flicks I had watched in the comments, people brought up the point the blisters. Everybody gets blisters.
Yes.
There's the one shot of where they're eating at Korean barbecue, I believe, the two cops, and they see the woman that has it down her neck,
Mhm.
but we never see that woman again. Like she's never a killer in the story or anything like that. And somebody had brought up in the comments, well, maybe it was a sexually transmitted disease because you get the Japanese man attack the woman on the rocks. That
Okay.
she was the second one, that one that um, stabbed everybody, burned the house down, that she
Yeah.
hung herself.
Yeah.
So her, R worded her. The daughter, whenever the scene where he's trying to figure out what's going on with her at nighttime, and he finds the two different notebooks, and he's flipping through there, and it starts off with words, and then it goes to drawings.
Mhm.
There's 4 or 5 drawings of it's her with red spots all over her crotch. And
Okay.
the blisters were on the inside of her leg. And she said that I ran into the Japanese guy. So did the Japanese guy R her as well?
Huh.
So I
Yeah.
think that was it made more sense to me as to why he got even more pissed off and went after the guy with the other guys to kill the guy. That the disease is actually a transmitted disease, and that's what causes them to go crazy. And it was just a thing, but there was a lot of people commenting like that makes perfect sense because you
It
got the
it does.
drawings, you got the little. There was just a. They never showed it, but the scene on the rocks by the river, because the river has a lot to do with it, because that's where you see the guy a lot. He
Yeah.
attacks the one lady in a very short flashback, and then it was like, oh my god, like that makes sense that he's a predator. I mean, he's evil, and that this is like part of it. And I was like, it makes sense.
Yeah, hearing it, it does make sense, but watching it, that thought never crossed my mind. And, I don't know that it would have on a second watch either if you hadn't said that, to be honest with you. Um, so it's one of those
Spoiler alert.
things,
Yeah.
it take a while. Yeah, I already got that. So, yeah, that's one of those things where it would have never crossed my mind, but now hearing that next time I watch it, I'll be like, "Okay, 'cause that maybe there's something more to this because it makes perfect sense, when you explain it. And as Mika says, yeah, agreed. We wouldn't have expected that ending, as I'm guessing
Yep.
is the missing word there. So yes, it's trying to determine the good versus evil. Holland agrees. Holland, it's a two watch movie. I need to watch it again. It's been almost 3 years,
Yep.
and agreed. This does well to rewatch. Yeah, it's definitely a movie that you're gonna have to check it out again because, like I said, there are so many things happening here. You're not gonna get them all, and to hear that perspective of it is eye opening to say the least. Because I would have never ever
Yeah. And
have thought
I
of
do
that.
recommend when like there's been a couple movies over the years I've been watching movies where I've tried to find stuff on the internet like Primer. Primer's a time movie, time loop movie, time travel
Yeah,
movie. It's only like 50 minutes long or whatever. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I've heard of
there's
it. I haven't
on.
seen it, but I've heard of it.
I've watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I went into it blind. I knew it was a difficult movie. So after I watched it, I went online and there's a couple different YouTube tutorials basically that is a flow chart of the movie to help you understand it. So I watched the video, then went back and watched it, and it made a whole lot more sense. I done with that movie, Predestination with Ethan Hawke.
Mhm.
I kind of after I watched that movie, I kind of delved into a little bit of what people's ideas of how the movie, what was going on, because the ending of Predestination is a little crazy as well. But I would found flicks, all one word, found Flix. The videos on there, I would, found flicks, the wailing, I think is what you do. I would suggest watching it. Like I said, it's 25-minute video, 25-minute long video, no ads. The guy does really good, just kind of sprucing along the story and pointing out some stuff that would make a second watch even more enjoyable.
Okay.
Because, like I said, there's stuff I wouldn't have caught that first time. Now, the next time I go back and watch it, I'm going to be looking for that stuff. It's going to help me piece together other things also that I probably have missed.
Yeah, because I had already decided, when the movie ended that I needed to watch it again. I already decided that. It's like, I'm gonna have to watch this one again.
Right.
And
So,
yeah,
cinematography. What'd you think of that?
yeah, the movie looked really good. Um, it, it's one of those things where it's with cinematography. The first thing a lot of times I think of, and this is a me problem, not anybody else, is you're looking for you know the obvious beauty of things. And a lot
Right.
of times, as you know, you're looking at these wide open landscapes maybe, and you're looking for lots of color pop and all that kind of thing like here. And you get some of that here, but they do a lot with contrast in certain scenes. Um,
Very tight, too. You do not get a whole lot of wide shots.
right.
I think there may only be three or four. There's one in the beginning in the long. They kind of show a long shot of the kind of the village. You get one good shot of Mount Fuji whenever they're on the highway, but it
Mhm.
really a lot of it's claustrophobic, and I think that helped
Yes.
tremendously with it.
Yes. Yes. And yeah. And that's one of the things that was different about it. So it's one of those things where if I'm not looking for it, and I'd heard about the cinematography in this movie being really good, so I was kind of looking to see to see what I thought of it. But if I hadn't been looking for it, it's one of those things that it would have affected me without me knowing why it was affecting me. Because those tight shots, like you said, is claustrophobic, and if you're not necessarily looking for it, you don't notice it. You just know, oh man, this feels different. This is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
This is tight. I'm in too close. And that is a great job by the cinematographer to put you somewhere where you're not expecting to be or not even aware of at times. My easiest example that's popping into my head right now is 12 Angry Men, and in that film, it's one of those where the 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 shots basically get tighter as the movie goes along. Um, so you start off with they're in a room anyway. They're all stuck in a room anyway. So the shots can only be so wide, but as the movie goes on, you'll just notice it kind of getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's causing a feeling in you of that, giving you that claustrophobia. So yeah, that same kind of thing that's happening here. And then there's a few shots where we do get pops of color, like we get the vivid blue that
yeah,
that showed up on that's on the cover here. It actually looks even better in the movie than it does in this still shot, though.
yeah.
Um, and
I
when
think
that
the only
comes out,
I I think the
Right.
only other wide shots are whenever they see him on the river because he gets seen on the river twice across the other bank, and you get a nice. It's kind of at an angle, but you get like the nice long flowing river out to the sea, but then you got this little itty bitty guy on the other side of the river. So you get a couple of those shots. Like I said, the Mount Fuji shot, but like I just really do love how it goes from you got the big picture to like everything is like in your face, and it makes that thriller a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I did really enjoy that, and we've hinted at it all along, but what do you think of the way the film was directed in general?
Um, so I forget who's the director's name.
Naj Hong Jin. I'm gonna put it back up.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of his. Let's see. No, I got to pull because he's got another movie that I've watched, The Chaser. So he did The Chaser as well, and he's
I
also
haven't
done The
seen it.
Yellow Sea, which I own, but I have yet to watch because it is also like a 2 hour. Yeah, 2 hour and 16 minute. So The Chaser, I think I ended up. I watched The Wailing first, and then I heard about The Chaser from he's always in all the chats, and I can't think of his name now. Big New York guy. KB always shouts him out. He's Puerto Rican.
Um, I'm trying to think myself now. Now I'm drawing a blank.
I just had his name on the tip of my tongue, and I forgot his name. Anyway, he recommended The Chaser, and then I seen that it was directed by the same guy, Trini. Yeah, Culture Trini.
Culture
Thank
Training,
you,
yes.
Holland. Thank you, Holland. So
I had his face right
immediately,
here. I couldn't think of it.
yeah, I know that's why I was saying here too because he's got that upwards with the Yankees hat.
Right.
So when I heard about the Chaser, I immediately watched that too, and very similar styles, very claustrophobic, very frantic at some points, and all that. I really, really like his writing and directing. And like I said, I own the Yellow Sea. I really need to watch it as well. I don't know. He's only got like 6 movies he's directed. He's got a short. He's got The Wailing, The Yellow Sea, The Chaser, and then 2 other shorts. So he actually only has 3 full length movies: The Chaser, The Wailing, The Yellow Sea. Both of them have 7.4 plus on IMDb. I really like him. I like his style a lot. It's very involved, and I like that because it's not. He makes it easy to be involved with it, and it's complicated at the same time. But you don't feel like you're being overwhelmed with complication where you don't, it takes you out of the movie. If that makes sense.
It
That was your
does.
question. You did ask about the director, didn't you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just how well, you kind of went into it, but yeah, just basically how do we like the directing of this film?
I liked it. He even though the movie twists and turns, he never wavered. Like he keeps you on the story, he keeps you thinking, and it's fluid from the beginning to the end. And even for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it doesn't feel like it because it flows, it hits, it never lags, it keeps you interested, and he did an excellent job on that.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. Um, 'Cause it could have felt a lot longer, and honestly, when I hear 2.5, 2 hour 40-minute horror movie, I'm like, oh, there's gonna be so much fat here that could have been trimmed because you know horror movies in my mind are best sub 2 hours. Um,
See, I don't. Even though it is a horror movie, I really feel like it's more a psychological thriller. It's more of like a
mhm,
Silence of the Lambs. I know people call Silence of the Lambs a horror movie, but it's a psychological thriller with some horror thrown in, some gore and all that. But
right.
I really didn't feel like it was a horror movie to me, even though it
I,
is. I
I
mean,
get it.
it straight up is a horror movie, but it's a different type of horror movie.
Yeah, I get why you would say that. And for me, I just it's a horror movie, but if you want to say psychological thrill, I'm not going to fight you on it
Yeah,
because it definitely is that too. There's lots of that, and but yeah, his pacing was good. You don't feel that drag. You don't feel any drag. You just like you said, it flows nicely from one part of the story to the next, and then we get those twists and turns that start happening in the third act, and it's a twist and then it's another twist. And by that time, you're not paying attention to time anymore. It's like you kind of glued, you're locked in, like, oh, okay, what's going to happen next? So I really appreciated that about his style. And he earned the runtime because he didn't rush the story, but he didn't just have a bunch of stuff that meant nothing. Right. So between his writing and his directing, he earned that 2 hours and 40 minutes or whatever it works out to be. So yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job
yeah.
with that. Let's see. We do have another new face in here, Dilated Entertainment. This is Ryan is the GOAT. I agree.
It's Eduardo Eddie.
Yep. And I feel they do a great job with the pacing. Yeah. Yeah. Same. That's just what we
And
were
the
talking
score,
about.
the soundtrack, the score in it is it's subtle. It's not
Hmm.
overwhelming, and it really highlights like the highs and the lows in the movie too. It's very good as well.
Yeah, I would say it is. Um, because when you said score, and I'm thinking of a recent movie that was the score was done to its detriment, and it was just so overwhelming, so intrusive and empowering. That's Highest to Lowest, the Denzel Spike Lee movie. Um,
I haven't watched it yet, and I've heard that from several people that the music selection of that was not the greatest.
not the greatest at all, and like I said, it just takes over the movie where it should not. And the wailing, it serves the movie. It doesn't take away from the movie, it doesn't subtract from the movie, and it doesn't overpower and overwhelm and overshadow the movie. So it does its job well. And when you get some of these musical cues in this movie, it's like, okay, you get a certain feeling. So that I think, yeah, they did do fantastic work with that. Anything else in particular before we move on from the wailing? Anything else you wanted to
I
talk
th-
about?
I think we beat that with a dead fish there, a cold
All right.
fish.
Yes, a cold fish. Very good segue. But before we get to that, I am going to give just my overall thoughts on the movie. And I think I've hinted at it. I did really, really, really enjoy this movie, um, especially once we get to that final act and we get all the twists and turns and all the happenings. But yeah, I've got to watch it again. 'Cause there's just so much I know I missed, and I'm gonna have to watch it, and hopefully this feels like one of those movies that reveals something a little bit more every time I go back to it. So I'm looking forward to my next watch on of The Wailing. So yes, definitely happy to
So,
have
do
seen
you
it.
have a rating? Do you have a rating? I gave it a
I
5 stars straight out of the gate. I said it was 5 stars. It lived up to the hype that was given to me. Just everything
oh
about the movie, 5 stars. But I guarantee if I would go back and watch it, I may be able to adjust it to like a 4.5. But it's
mhm.
definitely to me a higher end movie. It's a rewatchable movie, and you don't hear that a
Yes.
lot. Like you said, on a 2 hour and 40 movie, 2 hour and 40 minutes is that's an investment, but it's rewatchable, very
Yes.
rewatchable.
If I'm rating it, which I purposely did not rate it on my letterbox. I didn't want anybody to see what I thought yet. I would definitely say 4 with the expectation that it would go up on subsequent watches, if that makes sense. It's
Right
like,
now,
okay,
I think 4.5 is probably like a 9 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 5 is probably a definite sitting point of this movie. Like it's worth it.
okay, okay.
If you haven't seen Wailing out there, folks, please go watch it. Go buy it on Amazon right now. Caveman said 14.99. Buy it.
Yeah, yeah. 14.99 is a great price for a 4K. So
Yes.
yeah, go ahead. If you're interested in Asian horror at all, we are going to stick with the topic of Asian horror because of the movie that I had you watch, sir. And this movie is Cold Fish. And oh, you have a Blu-ray. Ah, cool. I do not. I have a
Very
DVD.
hard to find. Yeah.
I bet. I don't think I saw. I don't think I've seen a Blu-ray of it before.
It's third window films. It is region B only. It's locked, so I had to use my region free player. But I order from Terracotta Distribution all the time out of the UK. So the first, it's been 2 or 3 years ago. I had an Asian live stream on my channel. Dell was on it, KB and Vin. Dell recommended this movie. This was one of your 10 movies or whatever you recommended, and I couldn't find it forever. Terracotta had just had a sale, and this was sold out for months. I mean, like 6 or 7 months. And I finally got stock in, and I ordered it, and it's been sitting on my shelf since then. I've just never gotten around to watch it, and this was the perfect opportunity to watch it.
Oh, oh, I almost forgot. We forgot Stacy's question about remaking the Wailing. Wh- What aspects do we keep or change really quickly?
I think a remake would be bad because I think the movie is just that good. But if they did, it couldn't be Asian, so it'd have to be maybe. I don't think an English movie would work good. I think like maybe a Nordic version or something like that would be really good. Um, Swedish, somewhere somewhere up in there because they're pretty good about doing thriller movies, and I think
Mhm.
it would keep a lot of the same tone, but I don't think it would hit the same way. An English remake, straight up English remake, it would flop to me.
It probably would, but unfortunately, I think that's where the remake would be.
Yeah,
It would be it would be some American director, taking all the life out of it and making a movie out of it.
yeah,
Um, I mean, there's plenty of aspects here, but to get it, the problem with a movie like this is that it's steeped in folklore.
yes,
So when you move it to another region, no matter where it is, you have to adjust the folklore. And does their folklore, their mythology work with the story that's being told? And I
yeah. And
think
that's
that
why
would
I
be
think
the difficult part.
a Nordic version would probably be a little bit better because they can rely upon like North mythology or gods and stuff like that to kind of help the story a little bit. It'd be
Mhm.
more of a witch versus a demon or whatever, but it'd be a rough remake for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you did it, if you try to do it as an American movie, I mean, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get amplification of the Catholic priest, and the shaman will probably be kind of relegated more to a side kind of role, and and then you can't play up as many aspects as are played with in the movie as it is. So yeah, it would be really really tough to do.
It would be a different kind of violence too. Because I mean, just in the Korean culture, nobody has guns unless you're like special forces, special.
Right.
I forget what they call their special police officers. Common folk don't have guns and all that. So if it was American remake, your weapons of choice would be different. It would turn the movie I think just a completely different way. It
Yeah.
would be just a completely different movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do it without guns even in America, because I mean, you recently we've had movies like Hereditary and things like that. There's not really guns, but
Yeah.
so it could be done without guns, but we're probably tempted to put them in there because we love our guns. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to Cold Fish. So Cold Fish, we got a we got this guy here. You can barely see his face here. My fingers on his face. He owns a small fish shop. Yeah, there's a better picture of him. He owns a small time uh, fish store, exotic fish store, and his daughter gets caught shoplifting from a large exotic fish store in town, and so he has to go down and see about her. And there is a third fish store owner there, and he kind of, butts in when he sees the manager berating the daughter, and the dad just kind of sitting there. And which I think is a key as to how why things unfold the way they do. But he sees dad just sitting there, and he kind of jumps in there and sticks up for the daughter, and then he kind of makes fast friends with our main guy and his, not really his wife. He makes, he's like, hey, I got a store, and I've heard of your store. I know it's a great place, and here, we can go check out my store. I got this great fish. He's gigantic, and you can come on and go see him. And our guy, he's not really, he's one of those people he's easily pressured, so he just kind of
He's
goes along.
very, very, very traditional Japanese.
Yes, yes. And so he kind of goes along
Actually,
with
you know
this.
what? I was saying Mount Fuji in The Wailing. That was in this movie.
Yeah, because Mount
But they
Fuji
were
is Japanese. Yes.
yeah, they were in a mountainous area in the other movie too. That's why okay. My fault. See, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens
He
when you
did.
watch because I just watched this
Yeah,
Saturday, so
I got you.
it's fresh in my
So
mind.
they go back to this guy's fish store, and he's telling, all about his store, and he's telling him, hey, you know what? I got all these young girls that work here, and your daughter can work here. We've got this dorm basically where, a bunch, all the girls live, and then they come in here to work. And my first time seeing this, and I'm sure was like, this was a major, major red flag. And our main guy, by the way, the father of the little girl, his name, the young girl, not little girl, she's a teenager, uh, is Shimoto, and the Murata is the gentleman who's basically injecting himself into his life. And right there, like I said, first time I watched this, that was like a gigantic red flag. It's like, what do you mean you have all these young girls that live and work here? How
Yeah,
where were you when that all went down?
he's like the creepy uncle with a reformation camp or reformation camp or whatever for like lost and confused girls. I'm like, I want to preface this.
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie, except for Yoshida and his brother, which you would think are the crazy ones, are not. Everybody in this movie, even the girls, are effing psychopaths.
Yes. Yes, that is true. That is very, very true. Everybody in this movie turns out to be a psychopath at some
Because the girls, just for even being a part of this and being in this regimental fish camp, they're a little in the head too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, my thing was like, okay, what is he doing with these girls? And the interesting part of that is, we never get any inkling that there's anything wayward that he's doing with these girls. At
I
least
think
not
it's
that I'm picking up on.
towards the end. I think it's implied. But
Mhm.
yeah, we never really see anything with them.
Right,
They are a plot point in that story.
right, definitely. And he so he takes Shimoto over there. He shows, and he convinces him to let his daughter come work for him. Murata does. And he's also got a wife, and his wife is creepy from moment one. So as soon as we see her, it's like, okay, she's off. Something's definitely off with her. And then weirdly, even more weirdly, he tells her, you know what? Or they convince him to let his wife kind of just stay and hang out there. So now, well, his wife is like, I'll get my husband to take her home. And Shimoto just kind of goes home, and
Yeah,
his wife shows
because
back up the
yeah,
next
even
day.
though
But yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, so Shimoto runs his fish shop, but his wife actually is the one that takes care of the fish.
Yes.
And they kind of talk about that whenever they go to his fish store, then they go to his fish store. But So he wants business talk with her about
Yeah.
running. It kind of is it's a foot in the door to set up the business part of the movie,
Yeah.
but it goes left quick with her
Very quick.
being there.
Very quick. And I will say this is that for Murata, he is very clearly a good judge of who he can manipulate.
Yes,
And that's how
and
we get to where we get to.
and to lay some foundation, the wife of Shimoto is actually his second wife, and the daughter
Yes.
is not hers. She is the stepmother. So there's a dynamic there, and that's where he kind of puts his foot in that door. And it's if nobody's seen Codefish, I do recommend it. I'll put that up front. But there is nudity and also some other unsavory sexual things that happen in the movie. So if you're uncomfortable with that, I would not watch it. So
Yeah.
just forewarning, I because I didn't expect it either. It doesn't bother me, but man,
Yeah.
Murata is the psychopath.
Yes. Yes. And yeah. And basically he picks up on whatever it is he picks up on, and he realizes that he can dominate uh, Shimoto's wife. I forget her name, but he can do whatever he wants
He makes
with
her,
her. And
yeah,
she at first is seems like she's taken aback at first, but then kind of quickly goes along with the flow,
and
and
again, it
then
goes
kind of
back to
goes.
that traditional Japanese family thing because
Mhm.
they sleep separately. They don't have time together because of the daughter. Murata starts talking to her like, "Hey, you're not the woman. You're not the mom. You smoke. You don't do anything with Shimoto," and just dogs her, and
Yeah,
then does what he does
yeah,
and works that deal some more. Uh, it was interesting, but it really sets up the rest of the movie. Like it really shows you who he is. Okay, there we go.
oh yeah, oh absolutely, absolutely shows you
Like
who he is.
Tycho, she plays Tycho. Is her name
Yes, that's right. That is her
Ty
name, Taiko.
Taeko or something like that? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That yeah, and it sets up the movie in multiple ways because we see what he can do with her, and we see what Shimoto is okay with. Not necessarily that he agrees with it, but that he kind of tolerates and lets go. Because I mean, my first thought is my wife. We've just met this person, and my wife stays there and comes home the next day, and she's all giddy, and we never even talk about where she's been, what's happened over the course of the night. That's not happening. We got to have a conversation about whatever was happening. Those hours you were away, in my house.
and
So
and Murata is, even though he's an older man, he's flashy. He
yes,
talks a
very.
lot. He talks fast. He's got a bigger fish store. He's got a Ferrari. Your husband's driving a Subaru wagon or something like that. Like,
Hmm.
he's got the flash, and it really works in his favor with her.
Yes, it's a beautiful car too. Um,
Oh yeah,
yes, it is. It definitely works in his favor with her, and even to an extent, even with Shimoto, because he's at first he's like, well, this guy obviously knows what he's doing because he's gotten this big fish store, and it's not until a little while later, but well, not very long, but in a short while, he finds out that there's a lot more going on with Murata than he even suspected.
yeah.
He
The
gets
wife
really
comes back, and the wife goes, "Hey, we're going in business with the guy. He wants you to come talk to him. You're his new business partner." And he's just like,
yeah,
"What are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
we
What,
just met him,
how?
and now I'm supposed to go talk to him, and I'm his business partner." It's like the man works quick.
Very quick,
We find
very
out, and we
quick.
find out why.
Yes, when he goes there, he's got him kind of sitting there at this meeting, and Shimoto thinks he's just going to listen, and find out he's full on been recruited into this partnership that he knows nothing about. He doesn't know what's happening with
Yes.
any of these people that are in the room. And then things get out of hand very quickly, even further
Yes.
out of
So
hand. And I
yeah,
do
he's
want to
trying.
acknowledge my guy
Yeah.
Cal came in. What's going on, Cal? He's got Ryan out of hiding. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So Murata's trying to sell this guy on a 10 million yen fish, and he's basically brought Shimoto in to be the word of reason because he's also a fish guy, and that he can
Mhm.
reassure this buyer that his $10 million upfront donation is going to be the start of this perfect business partnership.
Right, right. Which is
And then
a
we got
huge
the crazy wife sneaking around in there too. Like Murata's wife, she's got those weird vibes. She's like the flirty stepmom, and you're still like, and you're like 40 years old, and you're like, I'm too old for you, lady. Like, stop. You're married to my dad. Don't. She's weird. A
she is
psychopath.
she is very weird. Like I said, everybody in here is a psychopath. Patrick is here too, and Patrick is pretty much not a fan of Hereditary. I love Hereditary, but I know Patrick does not. And Patrick just had a live stream that he just finished up a short while ago, I'm sure. Uh, if anybody's not familiar with Patrick's channel, Have Cheetah Will View, he interviews a lot of filmmakers, a lot of independent filmmakers.
Actors,
So it's
actresses, all sorts of
actors,
people.
actresses, directors, uh, just anybody in the industry that's out here trying to make it and have to some extent made it in some cases. So if that interests you at all, definitely check out Patrick's channel, even if he doesn't like Hereditary. So, but we can't all be perfect. So,
So we're in this
did
meeting.
anybody else pop in?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying if anybody else had popped in. And Cal does say that the Japanese expert, the man lives there at his point.
I wish I could live in Japan. I want to go to Japan, but I'll never get on an airplane. That's part of the problem.
There you go. I haven't seen these dudes so long, I forgot about them. Pretty background. I need some movies. Pretty
Well,
tough
check
to
out the
absorb
whaling and
knowing.
cold fish.
Yes, the whaling
So,
and cold fish. Um, but yeah,
so
we can get
we
back
get
to
we get
the
the
cold
meeting.
fish.
We secured the bag, so to speak, from Yoshida, which
Yes.
is this unsuspecting man. And they do what all Japanese people do. They get drunk after a business deal.
Hmm.
Is that what happens, Dale?
Well,
Yoshida gets drunk and then
he
dies.
gets drunk, and then he gets very dead very quickly.
And
Uh,
that's when, so when you um, brought this movie up during that live stream, I thought it was going to be something completely different. You just said it was about this fish guy that was a serial killer, and
Huh?
I thought he was going to be like just hacking people up and feeding stuff to fish. But
Right.
when Yoshida dies, and then he just boom hits fifth gear, Murata hits fifth gear, and Shimoto's like, "Whoa, whoa, wait, what is going on?" And then his business partner, I forget what his business partner's name is,
Um,
um, Susu.
was it Susu?
It was Susu, yeah, the older
Yes,
guy that
yes,
drove
yes,
the
yes, it
cool
was.
ass black limo.
Yes.
Yeah, him and Susu just like switch gears, and the wife comes in, and like they're in high gear, and Shimoto's like, "What's going on?" Like, and he's like, "I've done this before. This is number, I think he said like 58."
Something like that. Yeah, it
Like,
was crazy.
yeah, he's like, "This isn't my first time, buddy." And you're like, I just was like, "Whoa, holy crap!" Like this just went from like first gear to fifth gear. We are flying down a hill now, and I'm like, "Okay, this is good."
Yes,
Uh,
and when the wife gets involved in the picture, and they basically force Shimoto to be their driver while they, throw this body in the back seat or in the
they're
trunk.
they're basically testing him, is what they're
Yes,
doing.
they're definitely testing him, and they make him drive them to their little
Shack.
the shack that they own where they get rid of bodies. and you get some of the most meticulous disposal of a body in movies. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of cutting happening, and there's blood everywhere, and there's little bits and chunks of the person just all over this room. And Shimoto, he's throwing up his lunch, and because if we
And they
think,
break it down to him. He's like, "You
yeah,
haven't seen this before. You'll get used to it, but this is what we do. You do
yes,
this, you
yes,
remove skin, flesh from bone, you gotta do this, you gotta chop it up in little pieces."
gotta make sure the bone is separate from the meat, and
And the
then you gotta
wife, while
burn.
she is doing that in her nightgown, again, complete psychopath look on her face of just
Mhm.
pure joy of just hacking somebody to bits, and it was creepy.
Yes, very much so, very much so. It even worse because not Shimoda, Murata, he's also clearly enjoying himself, but it's in a
Yes.
different way. It's in his way, like he does everything is that over the top with this big personality, where if he wasn't hacking somebody up, you could understand the appeal of him,
Yep.
but he is definitely doing that. So it's wild. And then, like you said, her, it's just she's like it's like there's something more even loose up there
Yeah.
than there is with him.
And I like the way they shot, because they do it twice in the movie. I guess technically a third time, but it's a different situation. But 2 times, very at an upper angle, so you're looking down on them, and you're
Mhm.
really seeing, even though they're from a camera perspective, they should be the weakling. You can see that they are in control, and you really get
Yes,
to see like, and it's. I like the way the director shot the two dismembering scenes.
yes.
Very well
Just
done.
just to help you out, help the audience out actually, because I mean you watched it. If anybody hasn't seen it,
Yeah,
he's talking about usually we get forced perspective, and the way it works is generally you make something look bigger than something else, and that bigger thing is the dominant thing. But here it kind of
right.
works in reverse, where they're sitting on the floor or sitting by this tub and looking up at him, but it's like it's him, kind of entering their world, but then not really having the guts to go fully into it and having to back out because he's running out of the room. He's going to throw up in the
Yep,
sink and do all these other things. And that's where the control part comes in. They're definitely in control of the situation. They're kind of laughing at him about what's going on. And
yeah,
at the same time, they're semi trying to comfort him, like, yeah, you get used to this stuff and you don't worry about it, and those kinds of things. And eventually, they let him go, they take him back home. But we now know that he is definitely under Murata's thumb because he's only
he
got
is.
two choices here.
Yeah, he's an
Yeah.
official business partner.
Yes, he's an official business partner because he's only got two choices: either go keep going on with this or go to the police.
Yeah, because
And he doesn't.
Murata calls it making them invisible because they
Yes.
dispose of the body like
Oh
you are
yeah.
invisible, and he threatens me. He goes, if you don't do this, I will make you invisible.
Yep. I
I
will
mean,
make you
he's
invisible.
clear cut about it.
Yep, no mistakes about it. And so in my mind, like, yeah, you still have the choice, but are you gonna make that other choice and take that chance? And he's not gonna make
Right.
that choice and not gonna take that chance. Because not only does he say he'll make him invisible, but he threatens the daughter and threatens the wife.
Yeah.
So bad things will happen to all of if you do not cooperate and go along with what's happening here. And
And
yeah,
then yeah,
go ahead.
so they take him home, and then I don't even think he was home for more than maybe a half hour, and like he
No.
was already getting frantic phone calls that he needed to come back to the
Yes.
big fish shop. And this is when you kind of know that there's something wrong with the daughter as well. Like there's a backstory between the father and the daughter because she refuses
Yes.
to acknowledge him when he
Yes.
comes into the store.
Yeah, he walks in, he's asking where she is because she's working, and then he sees her, and he's happy to see her, and he's waving at her, and she just kind of she at the most she
Which
looks at him and then kind of turns her head, so or gives him
and
a dirty
that's
look.
the so the title of the movie is Cold Fish, and this is the only time we get a reference to the movie title because they're feeding the alligator, and
Hmm.
the one goes, "We don't give them fresh warm meat because that'll make them crazy. We give them cold fish." I just thought that was like just a little cool interjection, and there's like, oh, okay, cold fish. But the cold
Hmm.
fish also has a different meaning. That Shimoto's a cold fish. Like he's timid, he won't do nothing. He will take the bait and do everything we say.
Right, right, and that's where I go back to that
This
very first meeting. It's like clearly Murata picks up on that right away, and it's like, oh, I've got a patsy. I've got somebody that can do my bidding, and I can threaten him, and if I need to, I can get rid of him. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, that's where we are in the film. And when he summons back to the shop, unless I'm getting too far ahead of myself, when he's told to come back to the shop, he's basically toast on what to say because there are some people that Murata owes, not owes some money to, rather, excuse me, the gentleman that he made invisible. He has some business partners and family who are looking for him. Like, hey, last time we saw this guy, he was coming here, and now
and he
nobody's
had
seen him.
$10 million
What's happening?
dollars, and now he's missing. Yeah,
And the
yeah.
ten
So
million dollars,
basically,
yeah,
they're coaching him,
yeah. So
and then
they're
we
go ahead.
is after this interaction. Is this when the police approach him in the parking lot, or was that
Oh,
the next one?
is it right then or is it after? It might be
I think it's the next time he comes back
the
because
next time. Yeah,
he gets no rest whatsoever. Like his wife's at
no,
back running the fish store, and as soon as he gets back to the fish store, he's got to come back, and then he's got to go. I know what it was. So Susu takes him out. They had the meeting, and then Susu says he's going to take him back, and that's when he takes him out and roughs him up.
yeah, because Suzu is worried that he's gonna crack.
Yeah, yeah,
He says to Murata, he's like, "You sure this guy's good? You sure he's okay?" And Murata's like, "Oh, don't worry, don't worry. He's fine." But Suzu's not necessarily convinced, so that's why he wants to talk to him
and
separately and alone.
this is where we find out another twist about Murata's wife that
Yeah,
she wants to go with him, and we find out she's just a psycho floozy. I mean,
yes, he is.
you could
Yes,
use
he is.
another word, but yeah, I mean that's basically what she is.
Yeah, yeah, because Susu then while he's talking to Shimoto, then he just kind of turns around casually and he's doing things over here with Murata's wife, and she doesn't seem to mind, not one bit.
Yeah,
And but yeah, Shimoto gets the message, and like I said, there's really no rest. I mean, he goes back eventually. When he finally does get home, I mean, he for a minute he has a little mini breakdown when
yep,
he gets home, and he approaches his wife who's in the shower.
yes, and tells her
And
that he's sorry for being a terrible husband, a terrible man,
yeah,
that he loves her, and all that. And we're kind of like I didn't know how to kind of take that because I felt like they did care for each other and did actually love each other, but there was such strain for so long. And then everything that had already happened up to this
mhm.
point with her and what she had done, and she's holding this guilt, like it was a weird dynamic. Plus, I will give it credit, whoever casted her, that's all I'm going to say. She was very
Yeah,
nice.
I will agree. I will agree. I think I know. I think we're on the same page with that. I will
Yeah,
agree.
very good casting. But yeah,
Yeah.
so he breaks down, and then you think, okay, because one of the problems with Japanese families, especially ones that have kids living with them, there's no alone time. So you just don't have time to do stuff. And so I was thinking, okay, cool, they're going to make up, and he's going to tell her everything that's going on, and that didn't happen. They just go to sleep, and he's sitting there basically staring at her. And then he gets back up and then has to go back over there because the brother is coming back, or the meeting's happening. The brother's coming in, and then they've got to tell the story about, well, we don't know where Yoshida's at. He's,
Right.
he took the money. He's probably out with some prostitute blowing his money. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, he has to now, Shimoda has to now tell the story that he's been rehearsing. Um,
Right.
and just to go back to, him and his wife, I the way why I took it is, yeah, he had that breakdown, and they do care for each other. I think he maybe cares for her a little bit more than she cares for him, maybe.
Yeah.
But so with that traditional thing, he's not so forthcoming with communication. So and I don't think he wants to tell her so much. I think he wants to protect her from something like that. Not necessarily
Yeah.
knowing what she's already been exposed to. Um, so I think that's part of why he held back and didn't say anything. I could be wrong. But yeah, he has to go back
No.
uh over to Murata, and he has to, give this story, and we see Murata, he kicks in, the high gear again with the crying, and he's all over the top, and these are people that, at least in the short term, in the immediate situation, can do damage to him, and
Yeah.
there is a few of them there. He's not like
Yeah.
not got one
Yeah. There was
person
like
that's really
five or six of them, and then there was just
yeah,
Shimoto and Susu and uh,
and
Murata,
Murata,
and
yeah.
Murata and Susu are old. I mean, they're elderly,
Yeah.
60 plus, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. So he has to kinda, play this role for a little bit, and, it works. They kinda believe him, and they go on about their way, but as soon as they leave, Murata's like, he tells Susu, he's like, "Hey, okay, if there's a problem with this later on, we'll just make them invisible." You know?
Yeah.
So he's
And
already
then
got this whole thing plotted out.
this is another point too. His wife is outside the door listening to the meeting in case she has to come in to alleviate anything, and then she starts making out with one of the six girls in the hallway.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, you are just, again, they're all psychopaths.
Yes, yes. And she and well and this is also very important about her character, how fully immersed she is in this world also, because we see her, there's a meeting happening inside, and then they keep cutting to her outside the door with the girl, and she's like really enjoying herself with this girl.
Yep.
They're kind of touching on each other, and they're kissing a little bit, smiling, giggling, that kind of thing. And then as soon as she gets an inkling, she rushes into the meeting, and she's already full tears and hysterical, talking about how we haven't seen Yoshida, and my husband's got nothing to do with this, and so she just turns on a dime from what she was doing outside the door to what's happening inside this meeting.
Yeah. It shows that she is 100% invested in this. Like
Yes.
she is one third of that wheel, or I guess one fourth of that wheel now with Shimoto in there. So
Yeah.
this is
Oh,
after the meeting, they all disperse. Shimoto tries to go home again, and this is when he's approached by the cops. And basically, they tell him, "Look, we know something's going on because all these missing people are coming up around him." It's like his last business partner and his last business partner before that. Don't say
mhm.
anything to him, or you're going to be dead too. And he's like, he's now really, not that he wasn't already in between a rock and a hard place. He's getting wedged further into this hard place. So he goes back home again.
Yeah, and the cop gives us a figure. He says, there's 30 missing people around
Yep.
Murata, and we know that there could be a lot more because of what we've seen Murata do and heard him say. So
And actually,
they're just
yeah. And this
he's
part,
just off
Shimoto
the track.
actually gets some rest. He actually gets to go home because this is where Susu takes Murata's wife back to his house, I think,
Yes.
right?
Was it a
Right.
house or was
So,
it a I guess it was his house, yes.
his bungalow or whatever it was, his
Right.
and I gotta say, his driver, I forget what the kid's name was. He's a he may not be a psychopath, but he was not right in the head either. I
Not at all.
forget because I mean
Not
he
at
was a
all.
young kid and he was very obedient, I guess is the word I'm looking for. So anyway, Susu takes his wife back because he wants to do the deed with her. And
Yeah.
so Murata kind of already, I forget how he figured that out. He
Eventually
thinks
she
something
told
was
him.
up. What's that? I'm sorry.
She told him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I guess Murata is trying to tie up loose ends. So he is goes to Shimoto to I think he's trying in this point, he knows Susu, he thinks Susu's trying to well, he knows that Susu's trying to get behind him because Susu, I mean, verbally expressed that he has a dislike, not a dislike, but a distrust of him. So
Yeah.
he's trying to confer with Shimoto and get Shimoto in as his new person because he can control him better, whereas Susu has kind of gotten out of his control.
Yeah.
So then yeah, they go
So
and murder Susu and
yeah. So
we
it's
we get
all a
some filter.
before the murder, I mean, so afterwards we figure out because of like the way she told him and the way Murata took it. It's like it was all a setup, but
Right.
Murata, not that he's opposed to it, he just wasn't expecting her to actually have sex with him. But she did, and he was like, and then it kind of moves on from there. But before that, this goes back to the psycho floozy thing. I mean, and also so she can kill two birds with one stone. But she basically invites the driver, the kid, in to watch while they do the
Yes.
do over there. And the next thing they're both dead. And she's calling Murata to come. He comes over and they get ready to do their thing. They bring Shimoto and they get ready to do their thing. They carry both bodies out, and we get our second dismemberment scene.
Yeah, I
And
love how he's yelling at Shimoto too. Like, I already told you how to do it the first time, how to wrap the body, and you're still screwing up. Get your shit together,
yes,
basically. Like, you should already be a professional by now. I've already showed you one time. It's the same thing every time.
right, right, right. And I'm not blaming Shimoto one bit for this. It's like because no, I wouldn't be okay either at that point. But yeah, they have to take both bodies now. You got two bodies to do, and they start cutting them up again, and Shimoto's doing his thing again. He's just off to the side, and he's a little more comfortable around it, but not much. He's not like he's not throwing up every 10 seconds, maybe every 30 seconds now.
He spent
Right?
more time in the bathroom with them too this time too, and
Yes,
he kind of did some other stuff as well. Like
he
he
made him
did, like the
coffee.
coffee he made, he started
Hmm.
the fire and all that. So he was getting part of the routine down, but he was still not quite 100%. But then that's when we get like he starts like asking her if Susu's penis was bigger and stuff like that. It kind of gets a
Yeah,
little filthy, and he's just sitting there like, how can you two be like this? Like
yeah,
again, the craziness.
yes, and you mentioned, I mean, they actually pick up the penis and was like, "Hey, this is penis."
Yeah,
Like,
I'm going to circumcise him. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It was crazy.
it was definitely crazy. And yeah, so we they finally get out of there. We have to go back to the bridge and dump everything and burn the bones, and we go back through this whole process. And so again, anybody watching this or who hasn't seen it, or if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't seen it, yes, these are very involved scenes where in a lot of movies we get, okay, this is how you do it, and then you may get a shot or two of something being done, and we cut away, and everything's gone. Not
It shows
not here.
the dismemberment, the bagging of the meat, the burning of the bones, the ashes are spread. They have a spot where they go where they drop the chunks of meat in the river for the fish to eat, and like they're very thorough. Like they make sure nobody is seen afterwards. And this
Yeah,
is where it takes another crazy turn.
yeah,
Shimoda has another breakdown, like a legitimate high speed come apart, and it gets violent, very violent. I
mhm,
mean, not
mhm,
not not to a murder point, but Murata goes after him. They start basically fist fighting, and Murata's like, "You're not it. You're still not it. This is how you hit somebody. Now hit me." And then like he tries to force him to have sex with his wife. It's like, man, you people are crazy. But I understand it because he wants it to be a partnership, and he wants there to be basically an agreement between everybody so everybody's on the same page. Whereas I think
yeah.
that's one of the things with him, Susu and his wife, he wasn't on the same page with them. So he's trying to now force this on Shimoto where everybody's on the same page to kind of make that team quote unquote dynamic.
And not even and not well, not even, but not just on the same page, he's gotta have control also.
Yeah. Yes.
And so every dealing with Shimoto is basically, showing a show of dominance. Is okay, look, I'm in control here. You're going to do this. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get stronger, but I'm still in control. And it's like their every interaction is that. And yeah, his wife, Murata's wife, is it's interesting because he I think he kind of looks at her like a pawn, but she's more than that. 'Cause she's so fully committed to to
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
and so she's more valuable than a pawn to him would be, but he still looks at her that way. It kind of seems like, so like I need her to do this, that, and the other. Um,
She's an extra piece to help him assert dominance
yes,
because she has some of the things that he lacks, like femininity and just that side of it where she can be a little bit more seductive, and appeal that away. But yeah, so he's trying to force them to have sex, which they do, and then something happens.
we got a pen involved, a ballpoint pen, or at least I think it's a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, yeah, because I think he clicks it, or
Yeah,
does he?
he
No, he
clicked
takes
it.
the cap off. Does he take the cap
He
off, or
takes
he
the plaque
clicks
off.
it?
He takes. Does he? I thought he clicked it, but either way, the point is exposed. And while he's doing the deed with the wife, who's got her, neck exposed, he pops her right in the neck with it, and so now she's bleeding all over the place, and she's at first crying, and Murata's kind of suddenly taken aback because it's like, it's one of those things where, oh, I created a monster, and the monster's now a little bit out of control now,
Yes.
and Shimoto then goes after Murata with this same pen,
And
and
which her name is in the movie is Yukio. No, that's
yes,
not.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
Yukio.
yeah,
Yeah, Yukio Murata. Yeah. So yeah, even after she gets stabbed with the pin, she freaks out for a second,
hmm
realizes she's not going to die because she knows like where she was stabbed at was not a killing blow, and then he starts going after him, and she is loving it.
yes, she's very suddenly
She
she's having a good time while bleeding from the neck. It's
yes,
and and I think she knows that to some extent, Murata was grooming Shimoto for this,
yeah,
and like you said, Murata is an older gentleman, so and she's a lot younger than him.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, this is my new guy. He's gonna take over this thing, and that is what happens in the short term because we he finishes off Murata with I don't know how many stabs with this pen.
Well, he didn't die because he's still alive when they went back to check because he ends him with the TV.
True, true, true. He does do that.
Yeah,
He ends him with the
because I
TV.
thought he was dead too, and then they were driving back to the shack, and Murata was reliving. He kept repeating something about his mother and his father because apparently he was abused severely by his father as a kid, and that's what kind of created the psychopath as an adult. Because
Yeah.
he keeps singing something about "Sorry, Daddy," "Sorry, Mommy," "Sorry, Daddy." He says some other stuff too. So yeah, they go back to the shack because he's going to force her to dismember him,
Yes.
and yeah, so he kills him with the TV. He has now become the psychopath,
Mhm.
and yeah, so they drag the body in, and she almost is more than happy to. He has to threaten her a few times, but she seems to be more than happy to do it.
Yeah, and it's
He
important to note that at this moment, for the first time in the movie, we see Shimoto as confident and assertive. Something he's the entire time he's been timid and you know he's timid and just kind of really just shying away from everything. Not even
submissive.
more
Yeah.
something less than timid. Distant, yeah, distant where now all of a sudden he's standing up tall. He's speaking with command in his voice. Um,
And he
is
also
an is
doesn't
an
he
entirely
also tell
different
her
person.
that she is his now? That
Yes,
she owns him or he owns her?
yes.
And that yeah.
He,
Yeah.
he's now asserting his own dominance, and he basically he's like here, like you said, he makes all the threats to her and makes you've got to dismember this body, and he leaves and says, well, basically when I come back, we got to get make him completely invisible. But so he leaves, goes to Murata's fish store, and just yanks his daughter out of the fish store and throws her in the car,
Yes.
and then goes home to where his wife is, and he's acting in that same way. And we from what we know about her earlier in the movie, from her interactions with Murata, it's like, okay, for her this is not a bad thing necessarily, even though she's not as willing with her
Yes.
husband.
He knocks the daughter out because she's mouthing off, and then he proceeds
Mid
to
in the middle of while he's doing what he's doing.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was the
Yeah.
of all the things that happened in this movie, that was the one thing that took me the most, that shocked me the most, because you got this guy, and he is let me throw we've already even though we've already kind of spoiled it, but I'm still gonna put it up there. But yeah, we've got this guy, and he's assaulting his wife, and his daughter kind of wakes up. She doesn't like the wife. She doesn't like her at all, but she's recognizing that her father is right now just insane. And she's like, "What are you doing? Get off, leave her alone." And in the middle of him, basically trying to assault her, he just kind of reaches out with a hook and socks her in the jaw, and
Yeah.
she's knocked out.
Left hook and knocks her out.
Yes,
I kind of felt bad because I kind of chuckled at that whenever that
I,
happened. I
I
was like,
did
man,
too. I did too.
this is unreal.
And then he continues on with that whole situation, and then leaves the two of them there laying on the floor to go back to Murata's wife and see what's going on with that body. And I'll let you go from there on what happens after that.
So basically, he tells her that he's going to finish her off too, I believe.
Hmm.
Or, yeah, and that it's done. Like, he's going to take care of her and it's going to be done. And so, her being the psychopath comes after him with a knife. They kind of flail around on the bloody floor a little bit, and then she gets on top of him. I'm like, oh, she's gonna kill him. Like I'm saying, thing. I'm like, oh, typical Asian ending. He's gonna get killed. She's gonna walk free.
Not quite.
And no, she decides, okay, this is a time we're gonna do it in the middle of this bloody floor.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna do some fellatio, and I'm gonna ride you. And then he just stabs the shit out of her and kills her.
Yes.
Yeah, there for a second, I'm like, of course, she is such a psychopath that this has her so turned on. Like, this is
Hmm.
a sexual thrill for her. And he's going with it, but he's not going with it in the same sexual way. He
Yeah.
knows that her defense, he's letting her get her defense down and think that he's now this submissive guy again. And then he right up in the good old, right under the rib cage with that knife.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah.
part is what got me. He calls the cops and he
Hmm.
says, "Hey, they're up here now, dismembering a body. Come and get them." And all he said was the shack, but they never knew where the shack was, I guess.
Hmm.
And this is quick cut. A car pulls up, and lo and behold, his wife gets out of the car, and he stabs his wife,
Hmm.
and basically says, "I'm done with everything." Like all that, and then the daughter. The daughter was the daughter in the car too?
Yes.
Yeah, and she gets out, and he basically, yeah, that's right. He basically tells her that he is done. Do you want to live? Do you want to live your life? Do you want to carry on? And he kind of pokes at her with the knife, and then he just cuts his own neck. And then the daughter shows that she's a complete psychopath. And is like, you were a worthless father. F you. I never
Yes.
liked you anyway. And we get the end. I'm like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah.
I did not expect that ending at all. I thought after he killed her, killed the Murata's wife, that he was going to go back and try to live a normal life. I did not expect that he was like, you know what? I'm just done with everything.
Well, see, my thought was, I first time seeing it, I wasn't expecting him to cut his own neck, but
Yeah.
once he stabbed his wife, I was like, oh, he sealed his fate. Something bad is going to happen to him. Yeah, he took out all the bad people, but now he's already assaulted his wife, and now he's killed his wife. Something bad has to happen to him now. So I knew something was going to be, was going to happen. I just didn't expect it to be himself doing it.
Well,
I didn't know
you
if
know
it
what?
was
I
going to
didn't think
be
about that. The
right,
police already know about him. The police already know these people are missing. So if he's still alive, he's
right,
caught. I didn't think about. I just that just dawned on me when you said that. So yeah. So if he would have stayed alive, he was going to go to jail anyway. So he
yeah,
gave his daughter a choice: either I can take you with me, or you can go live your life. Which,
mhm,
yeah, she's a brat.
yeah, yeah. And but the daughter's reaction, yes, that was a bit much, and and the saddest part about that for me was that in the end, you know, I think he took his own life for her benefit.
Yeah, and I really, if he wouldn't have taken his life, I don't think he would have killed her.
No, not I'm not saying that he would have, but just to
I
free her from everything, all the madness that's been kind of going on.
Yeah, but if he would have stayed alive and the police would have shown up, I mean, I'm pretty sure he could have probably constructed a good story and
Mhm.
got pretty much scot free on everything. But the daughter would be still be a loose end because she witnessed him murder his wife. So
Right.
yeah, very very interesting ending. I did not see it coming. I did not expect it. It was definitely a surprise when it came up.
Yep. Absolutely. We had somebody pop in. Smirk, what's going on? Since you wanted to pop in and say hi, I'll catch the replay. Absolutely. Thank you, Smirk, for
Thanks,
stopping
Mark.
by. But yeah, that was an ending that kind of uh, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere. Um, the actual events that happened, but the daughter's reaction did seem to come out of nowhere. Even though through the whole movie, like you said, we got that cold relationship, that cold distant relationship between them, the dislike that she had for him. Um, but it's one of those things where you think that if something bad happens to her dad, she would come around and and be upset about it at least,
Right.
and that just doesn't happen for
There we go.
at least not now. Maybe who knows? After decades of therapy, maybe she'll come around. Who knows?
Yeah, because so the story, because she mentioned there's the one flashback where she actually beat her stepmom because she was
Yes.
smoking in the house. So there was already she already just did not like her. So the death of her probably really didn't bother her. But I think the planetarium, we didn't talk about the planetarium because that was their
No, you're
first
right.
date. But I have a feeling the planetarium probably played a bigger part between him and his daughter at some point.
Okay,
And then the new mom kind of took her out of that, so that made it worse, maybe.
it's possible. I
So I
didn't
wonder
think
if there's
about that.
some sort of like dynamic there that made it
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I didn't think about that. I just looked at it as she didn't want this woman to try to replace her mom.
Right. Did
So,
we? Did they say what happened to the mom? I forget.
um, I think they did, but it wasn't anything like crazy. Was it a car accident? I think they did. I could be making it up completely, but I thought they said she was in a car accident or something like that. Now we talked about cinematography in with the wailing. I thought there was
Right.
we've already talked about one shot in the
Yeah, the
bathroom. I
Mount
thought there
Fuji that
was
I screwed up.
yeah. Well, that one and in the bathroom when they were doing the dismemberment and him coming in and taking a
Oh
look at
yeah.
them. Other than that, I thought there was some interesting cinematography going on. Did you catch any of that or think of anything of that?
Um, the driving in it, there was something different about the driving in it because I think a lot of what am I trying to say here? The way whenever they were driving, it was filmed a little bit different. I felt like
Mhm.
you had a little bit more better view of everything in there, so that kind of made it the way they filmed them. Like they really kept like the Yoshida whenever he was there. You had everybody on the one side. I guess Shimoda was sitting next to him
Mhm.
because Shimoda wasn't really in on it yet, and Yoshida wasn't in on it yet. So the way they framed pictures and they framed the good guys and the bad guys, quote unquote, like was really well. But there was something about with the car driving too, the way they shot it, that always felt like they always were showing kind of the dynamic of the power play and all that. I think
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
I'm trying
with
to say.
the way they were seated. For instance, the scene with Susu and Shimoto and Murata's wife.
Right.
Susu, he's taking up this middle section of the back seat of the limo, and I mean he's a big guy to begin with.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a large
but
man.
yeah, but the way they have him sitting, he's positioned himself almost like he's on a throne in the back seat of this limo, and you have Shimoto is kind of cowering to one side, and on the other side we have Murata's wife, who's kind of wedged in between him and the door, pretty much, and she's very much looking like uh, an accessory to him almost. and he kind of treats her that way, almost like, he just reaches over and grabs whatever he wants to grab
Right.
on her while he's talking to Shimoto. So yeah, and they shoot that because there's another scene, I believe, there's of them driving, and it's kind of like that. And even when Shimoto is driving Murata, you get that power dynamic between them also.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the first time Susu leaves, or I guess it was the time when Susu leaves with the wife to go to the bungalow. He's also sitting in the middle. They always put him when he's alone. He's always in the middle, the center of attention. But when he's with um, Murata, he's always off to. I guess it'd be his right, but it'd be on the left of the screen. Like I liked the way he framed all the characters, and it really did show the dynamics between all of them.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and the even though that the house, because it was the house he grew up in that where the murders was taken care of, because they explained that, but
Mhm.
even though it was dark, and I love her way of lighting candles, of just using a long lighter with just a hairspray or something to light basically the whole
Yeah,
table on fire.
yeah,
But even though it was dark, there was still light to kind of like, especially with the blood and all that. The blood really showed up really well, and you got the point across. Like, you knew what that room was for, and you could tell the rest of the house that it was not a good situation. You kind of understand. It adds more to Murata's character, because he talked about how he lived there, he grew up there, and his dad beat him and all that, and you understand why by the looks of the house.
yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely do. All right. Anything in particular you wanted to talk about before we wrap this one up?
No, I did not expect it. Like I said, you recommended this, and the way you described it back then, I thought it was going to be a completely different type of serial killer movie, and I really, really did like the twist that this took and how the power plays and all that happened, and it was really good.
Good. So I can count that as your overall thoughts, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Same if you had a score for it, what would you give it?
I gave it 3.5, or 7 out of 10. I was looking on
Mhm.
IMDb. It 7.2, I think, is about where it's at. I'm going to watch it again, just because I want to try to pick up on some more of that dynamic with him being a sheepish person versus Murata. It would probably be a 3.5 for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's actually what I have it. I flirt with the idea of making it 4 stars, um, but I can't stick to that idea yet. So 3.5 sounds like a good landing spot for me. All right. Well, we have made it, sir.
Yes, only two and a half
I am
hours.
Yep, almost, almost. Yep, there we go. I'm gonna give you the spotlight and just let people know where to find you, and if you have anything happening over at Movies with Ryan or whatever on Instagram or YouTube or wherever they want to find you.
Yeah, so Instagram, Letterbox, YouTube, Movies with Ryan, all one word, is spelled with an O. I haven't posted any videos a couple weeks. I've been dealing with the views thing. I think a lot of YouTubers been dealing with, and my videos have just been like stuck at nothing. I got some stuff coming in the mail, so I'll be doing a couple unboxings, get them loaded up. And I'm thinking about doing something for the month of November, like something every day. I'm going to try to, I don't know. About a year and a half ago, I said something about doing my top 25 favorite movies. I just did my favorite Asian movies not too long ago. So I think I'm going to do like go through the alphabet and pick 3 titles of each of the letters and kind of go from there, make a video of a day, try to do something, get some views back up and all that. But on Instagram, you can always catch me. I do my pickups, I do my Fresh Friday driving jams, Sunday spin if I do that. Yeah, that's about it. That's me.
Yep. I did watch the top 25 Asian movies video. Good stuff. Good stuff. If anybody out there is interested in Asian cinema, definitely go check that video out. Check out Ryan's channel, period. As for this channel, well, before I do have Mika did say, nobody's seen this movie, so nobody had anything to say, but she did say she stayed for spoilers. and it sounds like a trip. It is a trip.
It, it is. I think out of people that were in the chat, Holland commented on my whenever because I posted I was watching it, and he put on there enjoy. So I'm assuming he's probably the only one that's actually ever seen it besides me and you. And I would recommend this movie if you want a psychotic serial killer movie. It's got some good gore in there if you like gore. It's got a little bit of the thriller element, and it's very fast paced. It's I
Very.
think like 220 or so
Yes.
in length, but it goes by fairly quickly.
And I like the Wailing, but there is some dark humor here too. That
Yes.
we really didn't touch on much, but there is dark humor throughout that. All right, as for Delon Movies, my channel here, I'm still working my way through the series. Where at the end of the year, I hope to come up with my top 25 movies since the year 2000. Yesterday, I premiered the video for 2002. So I did in 2000, 2001, 2002. You can go back and check those out. Hopefully, 2003 will be either later during the weekdays before Friday, or at the very latest sometime on the weekend. I'm trying to do all of those as premiere videos, so not live streams, but there'll be premieres where I'll be in the chat, so you can be on the lookout for those and come hang out with me while I tell you how bad my picks are. And gonna be back on Movie Swap again next week. It's spooky season, so we got to get some spooky stuff going. And my guest is gonna be Lady Shasha, who's also got a great YouTube channel. She's a great horror YouTuber. This focuses a lot on horror, mostly on horror. So we're gonna talk more horror next week. I believe that's gonna be on the 15th. And again, be on the lookout for that one. That is everything I have for tonight, and it is way past my bedtime. At
Mine
least,
too.
yeah, it will definitely be past my bedtime because I got to get ready for tomorrow. But thanks everybody for watching. If you're watching it live or on the replay, and hopefully I will see you back here next week for the next movie swap. All right, bye bye, guys.
See ya.